My
Big dog,
guy, what's
what's up,
going on
family?
with you, brother? Man, I
Man,
can't
ain't
call.
nothing, man. I appreciate you. What's happening, everybody? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Um, man, I'm glad we on here, bro, because it's kind of crazy the things that the event that took place is yesterday, correct?
Yeah,
I think that was from yesterday. So this young man, Dante Wright, and that whole situation that happened. So I know you want, you know what I'm saying. When we spoke earlier, um, I know we wanted. Can you hear me now? We good?
yeah, my screen froze though. I'm gonna leave and come back. See if that helps.
Uh, okay. Okay. Mhm. All right. So look, y'all know the situation that happened yesterday. So I definitely want to get my dog to jump on here to kind of break down, you know what I'm saying, the footage. Um, just trying to keep us all educated, man, so we can do better in situations like this, man. Very, very, very important. And who better to do it than obviously a officer himself. What's up, brother?
Yeah, okay, I think I'm good now. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. I was just giving people the background about what happened with Dante Wright yesterday, and you know the fact that I know me and you spoke, and we wanted to kind of break down the footage.
I wonder if everybody. I'm pretty sure a lot of people ain't seen the video though, man. They literally just showed it today.
So
Like,
what I'm gonna do is, I don't know. Let me see. This is my first time doing this, so you can see that?
yeah,
All right.
think.
So I'll run it back one more time so everybody can see it. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
um, I'll go ahead and speak my quick piece on it, man, and I definitely want to make sure that let me wait till he finishes buffering, man. Um, I don't know what's going on with my boys thing, but I'm trying to wait till we get it back on. So basically, what happened was is the female officer, um, she claims that she mistakenly grabbed her taser. That's why you can hear in the video she's saying taser, 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 but she's shooting him. And I know it's one of those things because even when I posted it earlier, um, no, he wasn't tased. He was shot. All right, we good now, bro?
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna
But
see. I'm just looking at it. There we go.
yeah, so basically, I was just telling them my. I was gonna start with my opinion, and I'm gonna let you, go into the whole spiel. But I remember, and I'm just reminding everybody, the last time me and you got on here, one of the first things that I kept preaching and talking about was, at the end of the day, go home. That's the most important thing. We ain't got time to be arguing. We ain't got time to be going back and forth. We ain't got time to prove nothing. And we definitely ain't got time to be trying to run from the police or doing anything like that. I don't agree with the fact that he lost his life. I don't agree with how the police handled it. But at the same time, I felt that if that gentleman would have took a second or two to think about what he was about to do before he did it, I feel like he would still be here today. So I'm gonna let you dive in on your expertise on watching that video. And I know you wanted to break down step by step, especially because and it's also 3 officers there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Well, the other
I'll
officer
let you
looks like
go.
one probably came. Cause so when I watched the video, first I guess they said he was pulled over for he called his mother and said he was pulled over for an air freshener in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that actually is a real ticket. It's a petty ticket, but it's a real ticket.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, as the official term is, obstruction of view. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in actuality, just how you're not supposed to have tint 4 inches from the top
Mm-hmm.
of your car, it's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing goes with anything hanging. There's supposed to be nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a real ticket, but it's really petty, like it's really low. Like you really only do that ticket for one or two things, whether either you just trying to get your tickets for the day so you can get it done, or you really trying to get in the car because you think it's something else in there.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what it really was, but either way it go was a real ticket. At some point in the traffic stop, it looks like the young man was cooperating the entire time. In the video, he seemed like it was cool. Like when you first see the video, it's like, why? Like you cool, you shouldn't even be shot. You chilling, you standing there, you got your hands behind your back. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is cool. But then at some point, the officer tells him that he has a warrant, and you can hear that in the video. Like when y'all get a chance, Josh posted the video on his page, and y'all can go on there and watch it, and make sure you turn your volume all the way up so you can listen to what's actually being said. And so, like, you can hear the officer tell him he has a warrant. Put your hands behind your back. And so,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, very few seconds later, you can see he kind of was like, "Oh hell no!" And so he's starting to get back in his car, and you can hear the officer, the white officer, saying, "Hey, bro, don't do that." Like he said, you tensing up. You can feel it when you holding somebody's arm, you holding somebody's hand, and they stiff up. You can feel that. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's telling him, "Don't tense up, yada yada yada." And so then he goes to try to get in the car. They're tussling, and this is where it gets real tricky. Where she pulls out her gun and she's saying, "I'll tase you."
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, she never looked down because she's still going through proper taser protocol, which is to say, first, "I'll tase you."
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're getting ready to tase them, they train you in taser training when you first get your taser is to say taser, 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 and
Mm-hmm.
you tase them. I mean, when I
Mm-hmm.
got tased, when I was a police officer, I'm retired now. When I got tased, even in training, when you got to feel it, I took that ride on the lightning, and it hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, hey, taser, 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 before they tase me. And so
Right.
if I didn't see the video, I would think he was being tased.
Mm-hmm.
But we see the gun, we all see the gun in the video, and she's saying, taser, 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 stop, I'll tase you. And then she shoots. And you can hear in the video faintly where she's like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he drives off, she runs back, and the officer like, what? And she like, I shot him.
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's so messed up because honestly, I don't think the shooting was racial at all.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic stop is debatable. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a black man driving the car. It is a petty ticket, and there's only two reasons for that ticket. Whether, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
it's either you trying to get your tickets up, or you want to get in that car, and you know that's probable cause to pull them over to see if you can smell something, see something, or whatever it may be. You know,
Right.
officers, there's plenty tickets that are on the books in the law books that are very petty, but they're great. They're tickets that will get you the opportunity to stop the car so they can roll down the window so you may smell whatever or see whatever, so forth, or just to get the name of the person to run it to see
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. And so he said he didn't even need to be tased. Well, the taser is to answer that on a level of force. Taser is actually considered like non-aggressive because it only lasts for 5 seconds, and once it's over, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Being tased, actually being maced is worse than being tased in my book. You tase me 1,000 times, don't mace me no more ever.
Mm.
Mace lasts for days.
Mm.
When you wipe it off, when they pour the water on your face and all that monkey stuff, and you go get in the shower when you get home, it's gonna get hot all over again. And God forbid you standing in the shower with no clothes on and that thing run. Guy or female, it gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, tasing, he did tense up. He was trying to get back in the car to leave. So I would have tased him if I was on that traffic stop. Instead of snatching him out of the car, pulling his arm out of socket and all of that extra stuff, I'd have just tased him. Get him
See,
out.
I got the video paused right here. So the officer is literally there's one on the other side, and the one who's putting him in cuffs, and then the lady walks up on the Let me see if I can flip it. So this is the beginning of the video,
Okay.
and then the lady is the one that actually did the damage. Is the one who walks up
Right.
toward the end. Let me see. There we go. So she's the one that walks up.
She's standing there, yeah. So he at this point he's probably telling them when he pulls the handcuffs out, he's saying he's going to jail, he's got a warrant. You can see he's trying to put one handcuff on.
Mm-hmm.
And he tensed up. That's why he's telling him don't do it. That's why she put her hand on him. And he snatched away. And they're tussling. And at this point, yeah, she messed up. Why are three people needed for one person? Because everybody wasn't doing nothing. You see the other officers, they might not have been there. We don't know. All we know was when she turned around, it was other people. They could have just pulled up, but it probably was just them two. Or we have no clue. The other officer looked like he was standing on the other side. They may not have had a call. Sometimes police officers, when you ride, most cars are one person. I know in Atlanta, they ride one person on regular patrol. So
Mm-hmm.
if my homie is my homeboy, if Josh, if you were an officer and you do a traffic stop and I don't have any calls and I'm just riding around, um, I'm gonna pull up on your traffic stop when I hear you just to make sure you're cool.
Right. Because
I may not do
we see
nothing
that happen. Yeah, I
all
seen
the
that
time.
happen, and that's happened to me before even getting pulled
Yeah, it
over. Where
happens.
it's like they're in the area, they just pull
Now,
up.
mind you, I am not defending none of them.
Right.
The situation, none of that. I just saw the video. Me and you talked about it, and he was like, "Hey, let's go live. Let's talk about it." I said, "Cool, I'm with it. I don't
Yeah,
mind."
because I want to see how people go home. Because unfortunately, in this situation, I understand everybody has the right to be angry. I'm upset
They're
too.
supposed to be. They're
Right.
supposed to be.
I'm
I'm angry
upset
too.
too. But I think that in situations like this, we got to look at the whole picture, man. And it's like it was it was no need for him to do what he did.
Yeah, it was no need for none to do what they did. Like she
No,
should
it's
have just
none of them. But I'm just saying,
him. Yeah,
like to break down. I'm just
if we
trying to
breaking
start
it down,
initially with
right?
just breaking it down.
He
And
should have just let her put the handcuffs on when he knew he
I
had the
wanted to
warrant
start with him
and went to
first, and
jail.
that's why I wanted to get I wanted to get your take on that. So I wanted to start with him first, and then I wanted to go with the officers.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm
starting with
listening.
him first, what is your advice in that situation if that's any one of us? You know what I'm saying? And we're in that
Man,
same
this
situation.
you cannot hold court on the street. Like, and I say that to mean like I was taught by my grandfather. The police tell you to do something, just do it. Because I would rather, he said he would rather pay for an attorney to get me out of trouble than pay for, a horse-drawn carriage and all that other monkey stuff and doves for me to be put in the ground.
Right.
Like, you can win later on. You can win later on. If they wrong, you can win. You can sue them. You can go to jail. Sue them. It happens all the time. People just don't hear about it. People go to jail. They weren't supposed to go to jail for whatever reason. They wind up suing. The city settle, and nobody never hears about it. The only reason we hearing about all of these shootings is because of social media. If social media
Mm-hmm.
has not been around, it would still
Wouldn't
be
hear
going on and
about
nobody would
it. Yeah.
know. We wouldn't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in Minnesota, in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. If social media wasn't prevalent, we wouldn't know. We would have no clue. Social media has given us a chance to see and everything.
So, so real quick, bro, because I gotta be, because kid, like I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, kid, that's very dangerous. Like I have compassion for that young man, absolutely, him and his family, but I don't want the other part of this information to get missing because we still have to be smart and do our part. Like if the officers are not properly trained, whatever we want to say about the officers, then don't put them in a position to do something that'll cause them to cause harm or take a life. And there are some times where, you know what I mean, again, they may not have the reason to do it. That's happened too. But
Yeah, they could really
we
be.
can't yeah, but the thing is though, let it be a situation where they are all the way at fault, because when you start giving the police out where it's like, well, they were doing this and they was doing that, then you playing with it. And that's the point that I'm trying to make and why we got to educate. That's why I reached out to my brother. Well,
This
he actually reached out to me because he was like, bro, did you see this? I was like, no. And that's the thing that I don't want to, like, because we're so led by emotion that we don't pay attention to the actual facts and what's really going on. And then what
yeah.
is it that we can do to do our part so that we're not being killed, that we're not being arrested, for no BS or anything like that. These are the things. This is why I wanted to get my brother on the phone, because we got to educate. And then on the flip side too, kid, like, I love you, Queen. You know I do. But the way this skin is set up, we ain't gonna always get the
We
benefit of
fight
the
we
doubt.
we
We
fighting an
not we
uphill battle.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
never
And
getting the
and that
benefit of the doubt.
and that's the other thing that you have to be mindful of, Queen, and understand, like, or anybody that's watching this. And that's why I
Nobody
wanted to
does.
start with him first.
No, it's
And
it's
then
not.
what'd you say,
Kid
bro?
Dynamite, we've got to get out of this mindset that cooperation is valid. No, it's definitely not. Cooperation is not validation for anything. But
No, ain't nobody
cooperation,
saying that.
you have a better chance. Ain't nobody said that because you really got to let us finish the whole before you make that assumption. Like all we're
Right.
saying is we got to do you got to do what you got to do to go home, and you can't hold court on the street. You're not gonna win, and we just saying that so that people know going forward. Like we want justice for him, and we gonna get she gonna go to jail. She's definitely going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
She. There's no way to get out of going to jail in this situation. Everybody gonna lose. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
lost in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, if I heard right, she's already been fired, and she the city gonna separate themselves. They gonna do what they got to do. This is about to be a training tool for the entire country, because I know in Atlanta, our tasers, the taser that I used to have and that we all were issued, goes on the opposite side of your firearm, and
So
it's
it's
bright
like your less
color.
dominant hand. It's typically
No, it's
the
it's 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 meant for you to not mix it up. That's why it's bright. It's a bright color because you're supposed to
right,
see it,
right.
and it's a bright color and it's on the opposite side. And so if you train properly, which obviously we can look at this video and make that assumption that it was improper training on a lot of this, that it wouldn't have been a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So will all the officers be glad just by being there? No, ain't nothing gonna happen to them because they didn't do nothing. Like you can't blame the officer that was standing on the other side of the car for doing anything. He didn't do nothing. He stood there, and she was trying to get him in cuffs and yada yada yada. And what happened, as we all saw, I think it's a definitely breakdown in training. And a lot of times, well, most of the time, departments only require you to do so much training, and most officers, and I say that because I know firsthand, only do the bare minimum because that's what they're required to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many police officers that go to the academy and go for training every year because you have to recertify, and they can't shoot because they don't practice. They never could shoot. They always needed help. They always needed an extra try or extra this, or you know what I'm saying, that extra push, that extra help to get certain things. There's so many officers on the street that have never been in a fight. So when they get punched in the face, that's foreign to them. People with my skin color, I know a lot. Josh been in a fight. I've been in several. Josh probably been in several. Like, we've been in fights. So getting punched in the face isn't going to make me mad, but it ain't going to make me scared. She was scared, and she didn't train. And when I was an officer, and if I knew y'all like that, I would let y'all pull up my training record. I got over 10,000 hours of training in the 13 years that I was a police officer. So y'all added up. I stayed in training.
That's a lot.
Because I wanted to know, I wanted to do better and know better. In order for you to learn, you got to go to training. That was how you learned as a police officer. You go to training. So if it was a training class, I was taking it.
So did they make it? I didn't mean to cut you off, King, but to that point, is there like a mandatory minimum of hours that you have to train?
Yeah, you got to go. It's called in-service. You got to go to in-service.
Okay.
You got to go to in-service. You got to do your classroom portion, which is like a day or two of just new laws, on refresher on use of force and all of those things. And then you got to go to the range and you got to shoot. And at the range, they usually do what is called ability, opportunity, and jeopardy, which is like AOJ. Used to call it, where you knew when you could and couldn't shoot. Sometimes they do the shoot, don't shoot seminar, which is a huge video simulator that you get in, and you get a laser gun, and they put you in a scenario. And the way you act, the controller of the machine can change the scenario at the drop of a dime. And so it can be a threat or it could be a non-threat. And I remember it was one training when I did shoot, don't shoot, where there was a Jeep. I got a call, some guys breaking in the Jeep. Yeah, yada, yada. So when I pull up, I get out the car and I'm in the simulator and I'm walking up and I see the guys. So immediately you see them and you speaking, you let backup know, yada, yada. And you do all of this in the simulator because you got to go through the steps, and they want you to go through the steps because it's training. Because, a lot of this stuff is muscle memory. So when you go through these steps, you're like, okay, boom, this is what you do. This is what you do. If you do something wrong, he going to probably change the scenario on you. And so at that point, they drove up, driving towards me when I told them to stop, and they were speeding like they wanted to run into me. Well, I moved and got covered behind the dumpster, and they kept driving. Nobody got shot. Car was broken into. Did a report. Yada yada. Cool. Well, there was another one of my classmates who did the exact same scenario. He didn't do certain steps in the middle, and when they drove up, they pulled out a gun. And so he shot. He missed. Never shot the passenger. Shot the truck up. Didn't shoot the passenger. He don't practice. He don't train. They have to train. And like, training is key for some of these officers. The officers that aren't racist, the officers that make these deathly mistakes and do these things, training should be like the key, because that can really change a lot. Training and getting some of these old laws off the books. Well, that's a whole nother topic, because a lot of these laws have been on the books since the slave days, and that's what they were set to control the slaves, and they're still there, and they still use them just on us instead of the slaves. Just like warrants kicking in your door. That was They did warrants and all of that stuff. Search warrants was brought on the books so they could search for slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they don't need to knock on your door. If I get a search warrant for your house, I don't need you ain't got to be home. I ain't got to knock. I ain't got to ring no doorbell. I'm coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That was on the books since slave days. That was why it was put there, so they can come in the house and look for the runaway slaves. These laws are still there, and they've been there.
Yeah.
Walked up to the
Yeah.
car that was yeah, shot. Wow, sorry to hear about your ex-husband's dad. That's crazy, Pope. But yeah, like training is key, and she screwed up. We definitely gonna get justice in that sense, as far as if that's what you, if they call people call justice, as far as her going to jail and all of those things. That's going to happen. I
Mm-hmm.
probably can bet. I'll take anybody that want to bet me some money because I like winning. I'll bet y'all. She going to jail. She gonna be the only
Mm-hmm.
one though, because she's the only one that did anything wrong. The
Mm-hmm.
absolutely only one. It's just it's so unfortunate, man. And we just gotta, especially our young black kids, like we gotta train them. Like us older people, we know. I'm up there in age a little bit. Josh got a little age on him. We know. Even at me being a retired police officer, when I get pulled over, man, my hands is on the steering wheel. I'm all my windows is rolled down. I turn the interior lights on. If it's nighttime, I want you to see me.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to see I ain't no threat. I ain't got time. I'm big. I'm 6'5", heavy, 200 and plus pounds. I ain't got time for no little scary officer coming up and he asking for this. My ID is already out. The music is already off. I turn the car off. I take my foot off the brake because if your foot is on the brake, it look like you're gonna take it off and hit it on the gas because they can
Mm-hmm.
see the brake lights. I take my foot off the brake. I turn the cars off. I turn the radio off. I'm rolling all this stuff down. I'm like, hey, I already got my ID and everything. Hey, officer,
Mm-hmm.
my ID right
That was
there.
that was one of the questions there, and you're pretty much answering it now because she asked earlier, well, what do we do to teach our young black men on how to properly, you
That's how
know,
you survive the
I guess
stop.
act in those situations. So,
Yeah, that's how
um,
you survive the stop, man. Listen, at nighttime, I roll all my windows down because some of us got 10 on our windows. Man, roll them windows down. If just roll
mm-hmm.
them down because it decreases the threat. It
Mm-hmm.
decreases their out. Like we say, how you say, giving the officers out. It takes away one of their outs. Oh, I couldn't see in the car. No, you can see the car.
Mm-hmm.
All the
Mm-hmm.
windows is down. All the interior light is on. It's bright in this joint.
Yep.
Ain't no music on. My foot ain't on the brake. My hands is on the steering wheel. My driver's license is on the dash. You can get it.
And
My
and
seatbelt
that's
is
all.
already
That's all
off.
we're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, my seatbelt is already off or unlatched in case you tell me to get out. I ain't even gonna reach for the seatbelt. When the car, I'm gonna reach over with my right hand. I'm gonna reach out the window. I'm gonna open the door, and I'm gonna get out. If you ask me to get out,
Right.
and I'm gonna
And
get out. And if you say you taking me to jail, I'm gonna be pissed off
mm-hmm.
because I ain't never had handcuffs on except for in the academy and when I was a kid. And we ain't talking about that. But I ain't going to jail. I'm gonna be mad, but I'm gonna go to jail because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I gotta do to stay alive. I gotta get home.
Mm-hmm.
I got people that love me, that depend on me, that need me.
Mm-hmm.
If they wrong, I'm gonna go to court. I'm gonna get one of them great lawyers that all the rappers be getting them out of trouble with, and I'm gonna get me a great check that's gonna heal my hurt from being in jail, and I'm gonna request that the officer be fired, retrained, whatever I gotta do. But I'm going home because you can't win on the traffic. You can't win on the street. You cannot win on the street. The goal, just like all police officers, when they get to work, and when we used to get to work, the goal was go home.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go home.
And I
That's
know
the
we can
goal.
break
That should be
down.
our goal.
Right.
Go
And I
home.
know we can break down so many things that the officers did. Like that's why I wanted some of this, you know what I'm saying, to come from you. But there are more, and the other thing that people don't realize is there are more citizens than there are officers. So what do we do? What can we do to be better? What can we do as parents to show our kids and tell our sons and our daughters what's the most important thing? How to be respectful, man. This is not about pride and ego.
It ain't
This is
even
not
being
about
respectful.
anything else.
It ain't even being respectful, man. It's just being learning how to survive the traffic stop. teach your kids
Right,
how to divide the traffic stop.
but a part of getting them to kind of get some of that aggression now is if you got to play that game for a split second.
That's what. That's why.
That's
That's
why
why
I
I
was
don't call it
saying from
respect. That's why I don't call it respect.
that's
Because you're just
fair.
playing a game.
But I was
Really not
just
respecting
saying
them.
if I got to put on and be like that
Put
for a
on.
second,
Yeah.
then it's all good. Like
I mean,
I'm not tripping.
no. Put on. Like if you gonna put on, if people put on for guys, girls put on for guys all the time. Act like they
Yeah.
like them. Act like
Both
to get a
ways.
meal.
Facts
Guys
both
put
ways.
on to get. We all put on. Put on, man.
That's it.
Hey, how you doing, officer? Why you pulled me over? I don't like you. But when how you doing? What did what
Mhm.
what did I do wrong, officer?
Mhm.
You were speeding. How fast was I going?
And here's the
That's
other
fine. You
thing.
ain't even
There
gotta
was
ask
a
all that, bro. Just give me the ticket, G.
but here's the other thing. There was a army the guy in Virginia, I think it was. His
Man,
video went viral and
I didn't even watch that.
he had his outfit on and he still he
Right.
did everything but again what happened? He was bumping his gums and
Oh, see, I
instead
didn't
of
watch it.
just see
I
you
didn't
got
watch it.
so he literally didn't like I don't all we see is at the point where he stopped and the officers are like get out the car. So they already turned up. So that's
Okay.
all we see. You know what I'm saying? He literally stops the car, puts it in park. He got both hands out the window. He's talking as calm as ever. He's talking as calm as ever. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, look, I don't know what the problem is. He's like, but I'm not getting out the car. So then he's like, I'm in the military, like I'm a lieutenant or whatever he
Lieutenant.
was saying. So he was, even though his voice was calm, but then when the officer tried to do something, he closed the door. You know what I'm saying? Like he just, but it was a tricky situation. Now, granted, the from my understanding, the officers got fired for how they handled him. I don't know what else is going to come from it, but it's still another situation where they pepper sprayed the hell out of Holmes, right?
Yeah, but see, if
He
he's in the
eventually,
military, so if you're in the military, I know they go. I believe they still. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to go through a training where it was kind of, we called it the gas chamber on the police department. You had to do it once. You're
mm-hmm,
literally put in a room that has no windows, no get out air, none of that,
mm-hmm,
and they throw in some tear gas. They throw in some
mm-hmm,
mace, basically. Big
mm-hmm,
can of mace, and they mace the entire room. You got your gas mask on to start, and then they tell you take your gas mask off,
mm-hmm,
and you gotta sit there until they tell you to come
mm-hmm,
out. And they do
mm-hmm,
that so that if you ever on the street and you going to arrest somebody and you pull out your mace and they overpower you and take your mace and mace you, that you can still handle yourself
mm-hmm.
while you have it. That's why you get maced in training. So the mace at some point, the first shot, because like I didn't watch it in its entirety. I just seen like the small snippets
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, and the mace probably didn't bother him at first. But still, like I didn't watch it, so I really can't say much about that video at all. I'm gonna watch it when we get off, though. I
Right,
don't
but
want
I
to
was
know
just
now.
saying from the standpoint of he kept calm, even though they was messed up for how they handled the situation, but he kept calm. He somewhat did what they asked, and then eventually, like he was like, "All right, y'all got it. Like this is what I'm doing." He let them know every step of the way. I'm removing my seatbelt. I'm doing this. I'm doing that, and then you know what I'm saying. He eventually let them put him in handcuffs, but it's just at the point like regardless of anything, man, deal with whatever after the fact. Just go home.
Did he
And
die?
that's no, he didn't.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't. But
I
when
mean,
you
that's
go
the
back
best
and you
part.
see the video, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's upsetting, right? Because the video's going viral, everybody's showing what's going on. It's upsetting, yes, but guess what? He lives to see another day.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be able to
I
go
don't
to keep
agree.
it
I
to the
don't agree
job.
with the treatment. I'm not. I'm not. I don't agree with the treatment. I'm
Right.
not saying that. You feel me? But I'm trying to. The biggest message that I'm trying to get people to understand is go home, bro. Like we ain't got to keep doing all this other stuff. Just go
Yeah, I
home.
don't. I got to. I don't want to be no hashtag in that form.
Because they
I don't
ain't
want to be on the
playing,
T-shirt.
and they
No.
still don't get it. Because the thing is, they wait. Folks is that lady that you're talking about that's gonna get arrested. They gonna make her an example, yes, but they really trying to see what's gonna happen with this officer in this George Floyd case. And if these folks don't handle that thing properly, well, they gonna turn up everywhere.
Listen, they
They
gonna
gonna
turn up
turn up.
regardless. They already turning up because they turning up over the kid. Now they
Mm-hmm.
turned up last night, and they already done called in more police and military because they gonna turn up again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a turn up, and it's going to
Mm-hmm.
continue to be a turn up because it's in the middle of the Floyd trial right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's in the same area, the same state, situation. So I mean, during the trial, like emotions is high. They running
Mm-hmm.
high out there.
Mm-hmm.
People like, hey, the officer might get off. That's gonna have. Most people was upset. People was mad, and I get it. I'm pissed off. I'm upset. The difference for me is I'm not there to do all that. I do my part here like we all do, and you do. We've been out there. We've done the marches. We've done the speeches. We're doing this. This is doing our part.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to
Mm-hmm.
educate people because these 13 people on here might get the message and go home.
Mm-hmm.
These 13 people that's watching, 14 now may get pulled over, God forbid, tomorrow. And remember, hey, Josh and that bald head guy said, just do whatever, man. Go home. They may get pulled
Mm-hmm.
over at night and roll all their window down and turn on the dash light. And the
Mm-hmm.
officer may say, you know what? Thank you. And not give them the
Mm-hmm.
ticket.
Mm-hmm. That could happen too.
Or it could be a lot, but it could ease it so many fear. Because when people used to do that for me, I used to be like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it. And I tell them, thank you for doing that. I run their stuff. They ain't got no ticket. They ain't got no warrants, nothing. I'm probably going to let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Nephew will
Mm-hmm.
trip. I'm probably going to let them go. I've let a lot of people go. But, I think I know police departments have to do better with training. Like, it can't be swept under the rug. It can't be something that isn't pushed. Training has to be pushed more than just the requirements by the state.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be pushed. And I know, like I said, Atlanta, when I went to APD, and I'm not a fan too much of APD, but when I was there, we trained I think the state only required like 18 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
APD made us do 26 weeks of training
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted us to know extra.
Mm-hmm.
And that extra is what saved a lot of us from doing stupid stuff and making some of those mistakes. That extra taser training that I took made me not make that mistake because I don't know if some of y'all remember, this same situation happened in New York some years ago in the train station, I believe it was, where a guy was killed because the officer pulled his taser, his gun instead of his taser and thought he was tasing somebody.
That was New
You
York.
know, yeah, it was. I remember that was in New York. Initial and annual, they already do annual retraining. They need to train regularly. When I was on the strike
Mm-hmm.
team, my sergeant made me train once a month. We had to go to some type of extra training. And if we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to any training, he signed off of it. He didn't care how long it was. I done been to training all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you have to. They have to do the training is essential for
Yeah.
them if they want to not make those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And for the states and for the people, like we need them to be trained right. They need if you're gonna take on that job, you should want to be, what I'm saying, properly trained. You should want to be the best at it and want to do extra training. There's so many people that shouldn't be police because they do the bare minimum. And in that job where you have so much authority and so much power, the bare minimum is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. And it's so many officers, good officers now that are quitting because they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be on social media.
So I think that's the other thing that I wanted you to touch on, if you didn't mind, because I feel that, sometimes we focus so much on the bad that we don't realize, like you just said, there are great officers out there, you know what I'm saying, that have the proper training, that do the right things. But now it's at a point where they're, like you said, they're quitting, they're walking away. They don't want to
Oh, they
deal with
gone.
it because
Mm.
either, for one, they're targets now, or for two, I forgot what the other thing was that you said.
They're targets and they're one mistake away from
One
jail.
mistake away
You're
from,
like
yep.
one bullet away from death and one mistake away from jail. And at this point,
Mm-hmm.
like they shooting police officers for you just sitting in the. I remember that some officers got shot and killed or shot at for just sitting in the restaurant eating. They wasn't doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody know if they was racist or not. We don't know if
Mm-hmm.
they ever did anything or not. They just got
Mm-hmm.
shot at. I'm not about to sit nowhere and get shot at and I ain't did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't did nothing but try to do right and trying to be right. And I'm gonna get shot at for trying to eat a slice of pizza in between
Mm-hmm.
calls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out. I can do a whole bunch more and make a whole bunch more. And so you have a lot of officers leaving. You got
Mm.
officers that's leaving and driving trucks and making way more than they did with way less stress. And
Which
it's
to that point,
unfortunate.
right?
It's
And to that
unfortunate
point,
because we need them
no, we do. And to that
and
point,
they ain't
I
with it.
think that's the thing that people aren't understanding because now the good officers are leaving. They have to hire people. So you trying to hire people in quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you're filling up badges, but they're not getting the proper training. So it's like it's a fuck situation. You know what I'm saying?
It's a bad situation, guilty by association. I mean, well then I must be guilty because I'm a retired police officer and I carry my ID, so I'm guilty too. So I'll
Yeah,
be guilty by association. Kid Dynamite. But like
that's a lot of emotion,
you
man. That's not the proper way. Like I get it, but
no.
that ain't
I mean,
this ain't that. You know what I'm saying?
nah.
Because the same thing with what he's saying. Like my mother, you know what I mean, was an officer. You feel me? Like there have been
Right.
people in my family that have served, and whether it's been policing or military, like so
Mhm.
that's the wrong attitude to have about it. It's and just like
But see,
you
but
know
see,
what's
that's
funny?
the attitude though, Josh. That's the attitude that made one of the best officers APD ever had
Hmm.
leave and take a head of security job back in his hometown.
No, and I feel you, but on the flip
That's the
side,
one.
where I'm going with this is this the same way that you could feel about an officer is the same thing that we're trying to fight for, and to have people not look at us as black people. Like, think about
We
that shit.
guilty too. We guilty too.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like if we don't want that on our head, it has to be even across the board. Like it
Right.
shouldn't be that type of mentality or that attitude. You know what I'm saying? It does. We acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
like
it
I get
definitely.
it, bro. I hear you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
We all
trying to
get
come
it.
at you. Yeah, I'm not trying to come at you. I'm just saying like we still even with our emotions, we still have to be better and do better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Black officers don't want to be police. Cause let me tell you
Hmm.
something. I don't want to pull over no kid and the first thing he do is go Instagram live.
Hmm.
I don't want to be on nobody's social media for doing nothing.
Hmm.
You could have
Hmm.
ran 10 lights. And as soon as I pull you over, you're gonna say, here, you're gonna get on your live, you're gonna say, here come this racist cop. Oh, he a Uncle Tom too. I'm
Hmm.
gonna walk up to the car and first thing I'm gonna see is your phone with that live going, and your followers gonna be jumping because you're gonna put in, I just got pulled over, so they're gonna be watching.
Hmm.
I ain't trying to be that guy.
Hmm.
So I mean, and then people not trying to be that guy. Don't nobody want to be on it,
Hmm.
good or bad. Don't nobody want to be on your social media being, described as anything. Everybody want to just whatever. But it's unfortunate that the good officers and the ones that we need are leaving, and they're leaving because of several things. It's like a compound issue. It's pay, is racism within the department, is respect within the department, and then you get in it. You are people already don't like the police. They never like the police. It's a
Hmm.
thankless job. You don't get thank you. And the crazy part is the only time I got thank you was from the white people, and I never worked in the white area.
Hmm.
I only got thank you when I went to Buckhead to eat a Chick-fil-A for free, and I wasn't even
Hmm.
supposed to be up there. Little kid came up asking for my autograph. I go eat at eight ATL Wings on Campbellton, and the little kid like F12. Here come 12. And they
Hmm.
running out. You know what I'm saying? It's just I think we just have to do better for ourselves and find a better way to push our agenda of justice and equality. That's all I'm asking. Have you ever pulled an officer to the side and say you're wrong, sir? Yeah, I actually have. If me and Josh did a live to answer your question a while ago, and I talked about how there was an officer who called a kid a nigger over off of Campbellton Road, which is a predominantly black area in
Hmm.
Atlanta. And literally all the other officers over there, we forgot all about what the kid did, what was going on. We forgot all about the fight and all our attention drew to him. Like we literally told the kid, go, get out of here, told everybody get out of here. And we went right back to the office and we complained. We did the proper way of complaining. We did the complaints. We went to internal affairs. We was labeled as snitches for a minute. And then They moved him, and then they fired him because he did it again. So
Mm.
like it's people. We say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We say stuff. If you're not scared, you're gonna say something. But I mean, we dealt with the ridicule of being, called snitches and this and that because we didn't want our 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 fellow king, young king, to be treated in such a way. So like his
But not only
actions,
that, right? Can't there be like some type of like suit or something like you know what I'm saying? Because I know people will file a suit for anything,
yeah,
right?
man. But that stuff ain't going nowhere, man. Them
I'm just
lawsuits.
asking because I know somebody want, you know what I'm saying? Because there are
No, no,
people out
no.
here, man, that
Some of those frivolous, some of those small lawsuits like that, you sue them for treating you like this. It ain't gonna go nowhere.
right.
And once it don't go nowhere, you might as well quit because ain't no unit gonna take you. Ain't no don't know officer, no sergeants, nobody wants you because they
Mm-hmm.
can't trust you. Just like on the street, if you snitch for the right thing on the street, ain't nobody messing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody mess with snitching. Won't care what you snitched about. It's just it's the same code on the street as on the job. Whether you the police or
Mm-hmm.
you at CVS, if you snitch on me on CVS for eating a Twix, ain't nobody gonna want to work your shift,
Right.
whether you're doing something wrong or not. It's just so unfortunate, and it has to be done better on the police department because they have so much power. They have
Mm-hmm.
so much authority and power. You literally can take someone's life instantly. So you have to be held to a higher standard when it comes to training and doing those things. But it's training, man, training, and finding ways to get more of us on the department.
Right.
Because, like you said, when somebody asks, "Well, who they hiring now?" If the black people ain't trying to be the police, who they hiring?
Mm-hmm. And
We
that's
who they
across the
hiring?
board. We complain, but we need more black officers. We need more black doctors. We need more black teachers, more black
We need
principals, more black judges, more black politicians. Like it's a long list of,
and
and
less athletes.
I
I mean,
I
and I'm and,
agree, a hundred
and
percent, bro. No, no, I agree.
I promise. Yeah, we have to. Like we all make this mistake, or may our parents have made this mistake. As soon as you big, I promise you, every time people see me, the first thing they say, "You play football?"
Hmm.
Like we got to do better, man. We got to do better with raising our children because the racist people in the KKK they stopped hanging people in the streets long time ago. You see
Hmm.
it hanging here and there. What they started doing was raising
Doctors,
their kids to be
teachers,
doctors, teachers,
teachers.
lawyers. Everything that we should be doing, they teachers, they lawyers, they doctors, they judges. All the people we need, they politicians. All the people we need to get equality. They put their kids in place. You're not gonna know that doctor racist. You're
Hmm.
just gonna die on the table because he didn't go the extra mile for you.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
what you're gonna do. You're gonna die on the table because you a black kid that came in there with a beard. You got tattoos all over the place because you just like art. You just want to express yourself. And he, look at this thug. You got
Hmm.
shot at the CVS just buying a drink. You ain't had nothing to do with the robbery. You tried to save the attendant. You gonna come in there and say, look at this thug.
Hmm.
And guess what? That guy that you do not know he racist, you probably gonna die on the table.
Hmm.
Because he fitting this agenda. He doing what his daddy told him to do. But we tell our kids, man, listen, if you got any height on you, go play ball. You got any size on you, go
I
play
don't want to hear
ball.
that. I don't want to hear that.
We want to. No, we creating mandingos. That's what we creating. We creating mandingos for them to watch and get amusement of. That's what we creating. And if y'all don't know what mandingos are or what they really are, it ain't got nothing to do with your penis size. Look it up. What they call mandingos in the slavery days. That's what we raising. We raising tons of mandingos. As soon as you big, you throw a football in their hand. And I mean, if that's what they want to do, cool. And I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with it if that's what they want to do. But I'm saying we shouldn't have to push that agenda.
That's not any and
My son,
everybody because they know damn well that some of these kids, and that's the other part of being a
man,
parent, man.
listen,
Like,
man.
be honest with your kids, man. You know the
I couldn't,
motherfucker can't hoop, they can't play
man,
football, they
listen,
can't play baseball.
listen,
There, you gonna keep pushing, keep
listen,
pushing, keep
listen.
pushing.
Man, listen, I love my son to death, and I don't care. I told him, I love him. I want to play football. Cool. Let's do it. Bought all the equipment, bro. Everything. Best cleats, best uniform, fresh helmet. Had all the concussion stuff in the helmet, all the extra stuff. My kid gotta have the best. Bro, he got hit one time. He walked off the field and he never put it on again. He said, I ain't playing this no more. I don't want to do that no more. Some parents be like, oh no, I pay for this. You gonna play that. I mean, I was pissed off. But he know. My son, man, he ain't got no coordination. He can't dance. He can't play no sports. I'm telling him, listen, man, you should create video games, bro. We're going to figure out how to get you in a video game program or something. Maybe you should be a lawyer or a doctor because the sports thing ain't for you. It wasn't for me. It wasn't
That's
for me.
real, bro. I appreciate
fast.
you saying that, man. That's real.
I'm fast, but outside of fast, all I can do in basketball is block and dunk and shoot free throws. I can't dribble to save my life, bro. And so my parents never pushed that for me. They never did. And like we just have to train our kids better, man. We gotta train. And I say train because that's what you're doing. I mean, teach them, train them, whatever you want to call it, man.
Yeah.
Teach them better. We got to teach them better. We got to teach them at a young age. Teach them that they can do more than just be bending on. Teach them how to survive the stop. Teach them that coming home is more important than your pride.
Teach them how to infiltrate the same way everybody else doing.
Yeah, we gotta get
Real
in there, and
talk.
we doing it. We're slowly doing it. They doing it with the black politicians that we getting more of them. We're getting a lot more of the black politicians. We're getting a lot more of the diversity when it comes to those areas. Even with doctors, we're getting a lot more of the black doctors, especially female doctors. Salute to the queens. Like we getting a lot of those. It's a lot of black lawyers. It's a lot of black judges that's popping up. But those deep, powerful positions is still held by those guys. Like if you live in Georgia, I challenge you to take a ride. Well, no, I don't, because I don't want you to get hurt. But if you drive outside of 285 and you go north, south, east, or west, you're gonna see the difference. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. When you ride out there, you see all those Confederate flags and all of this extra stuff, you're gonna see the difference. Supposed to be a privilege. I don't know what you're talking about, G. That's cool. How, as single moms, you teach this to your son? The same way you teach him to respect women? The same way you teach him. The same way you teach him to respect you. You sit him down and you tell him, listen, son, I love you. I want you to come home. I need you to come home. We need you. And this is what I need you to do. This is if you love me, this is what you'll do for me. Like you gotta really have those real talks. The same way the single mom has that talk with her son. My mother had a talk with me. She was a single mother. Don't bring no kids home. I had my first kid at 31 because I was scared for a while.
Right. And then the other part of that too is like if there are any positive male examples, role models, family, then make sure that they're getting some time with your sons. It's nothing harmful in that. You know what I mean? Because I know there are a lot of single moms out here, and I respect that, and I respect the women that are stepping up. But if you can get him into a program, there's mentoring program, like there's all kind of things to try, find positive male role models or examples that they can talk to and have that open dialogue with. So, it's just a lot of different ways to go about it. But.
My mother sent me to Powell.
Okay.
My mother sent me to Powell when I was a kid to be around some. I was in Powell and I went to the Bob Lanier program. And I know you know who Bob Lanier is. I went to his. He had a program in Buffalo, New York, and it was for the youth, and it was like after school program. We went, we did our school work, and we it was a lot of encouragement from positive men and women there. And the same thing at Powell. If y'all don't know what Powell stands for, it's the Police Athletic League. Every department usually has one. And the only people that work at police athletic, the only officers that are there are the ones that actually enjoy working in the community, that actually, whatever community it's in, they love working there. They love the children. And so they're going to be there for the community. And I know at the Atlanta one, there's tons of black officers there. So Boy Scout, I don't know about Boy Scouts. Hey, Pooh, that's my sister. Boy Scouts different now. It ain't like it was. I was a Boy Scout too until I lost in the little boxcar thing, and I didn't want to do it no more. But like all of those things, we could send our kids to Boys and Girls Club, all of that stuff to get some of that positive male, you know what I'm saying, influence. There's tons of places, but you know, single moms, y'all got it rough. But y'all doing your thing, but it's got to be ways. I know y'all got a boyfriend that y'all trust.
Well, that's another conversation, bro. it's getting a little tricky. It's getting a little tricky now.
Hey, listen, we're gonna back that off. We're gonna back that up. Retract. I need to retract statement. Yeah, edit that part out.
Oh man.
But for real though,
but real talk, if there is, you know what I'm saying, it ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Because we all need it. You know what I'm saying?
We do. Basketball is saving a lot of the kids. Basketball saving. It's a lot of programs.
And then the other thing is too is that parents, that if your kid loves sports, to your point, because it's still a way to serve, then they don't necessarily have to be the athlete. It's just like the actor. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many ways to provide for your family, so many ways that you can still mentorship or serve or give back or be there for somebody. Like it's just so many different ways you can do that. You know, and you know, who's to say that somebody's son can't be the next best referee? And referees do a lot of things in the communities. You know what I'm saying? Who can say they can't be the next head coach or you know, the next person that's top on player development or certain things? And now that person gets to be around kids and they can talk to these kids and keep it funky with them. Who's to say they can't, you know, be one of the coaches on the AAU teams? And guess what? Every year they're going to see 15 new kids on the top AAU team. So then you get to mentor. You get to
15 new kids. Yeah.
Right.
Even if you go to church, you know, find a kid in your church, man. To the men that's on here, find a kid in your church, man. And talk to them. See, you know, communicate with them. Don't just go there, get your little word, you know, do your little praise, and then like, all right, I'm out. I'm about to go eat it, and you know, eat my Sunday, whatever. You know, stick around.
We need more dope ass, real ass pastors, dog.
Man, listen, I'm gonna invite you to my church.
Straight up, bro.
I'm gonna invite you. Gotta come check it out.
We need some gangsters behind the pulpit, bro.
Hey, you gotta come to my church, bro. You gotta come. It's a kid at my church right now who I've been noticing every time he come in. You know, I speak because I run the door. And I speak to him every time I speak to him and his mother. We have a lot of dialogue. And one day he was going to the bathroom and he started just talking about video games. And we had a long talk about video games. I play video games too. I said, hey, we should go online one day and play together. Just that.
They need that.
His mom is single.
Yeah,
he's got a single mom.
They need that,
just
man.
that interaction makes it comfortable for him to say, hey, let me tell you about this situation. Like, man, what should I do about this? Because he'll tell me something that he can't tell his mom, or he don't feel comfortable telling his mother.
Yeah.
And so then, you know what I'm saying? I can give him positive advice and also tell his mother. But, you know what I'm saying? Those are things like that some of the men, we got to step up too.
We do. Now, to that point, I was waiting for you to throw the lob, because there are still men who are in position to be that, and we're being blocked. Now, again, we ain't on this call for that, but just understand, we all in this thing together. You see my dog done start rubbing his head. We all in this thing together. So, ladies, if you do have children and the father wants to be a part of the child's life, and don't make it about you. And just like we as fathers can't make it about us, it's about the child. It's about the child.
Man, at some point, man, like, we have to realize that some men aren't horrible fathers. They're just horrible relationship partners. They're horrible husbands. They're horrible boyfriends. They're horrible but they're excellent fathers. Or they just don't want to be with you, but they want to be with their kids. Let them be with their kids because they could be with their kid, and guess what? They can tell their kid, "Hey, survive to stop,
Mm-hmm. What?
survive
Hey,
to stop,"
man.
because that young man got a 2-year-old little boy, man.
That's the sad
That
part.
young Mr. Wright, because I ain't gonna call him by his first name because I respect him. He got Mr. Wright got a 2-year-old little boy.
Yeah,
Two. So
yeah,
now his mother is a single mother.
yeah.
So
And we
who gonna
got,
step up? Who gonna
yeah,
step up
yeah,
and help that little boy not make that mistake? Because it was mistakes made on that traffic stop. He made a mistake, she made a mistake, and everybody lost.
yeah.
That's
I
the hard facts.
I know you got something you got to do, man. I don't want to hold you, so if you could, man, leave us with some good food, man. If you get off of here, brother.
Man, I said it over and over again, man. Survive to stop, bro.
There you go.
Survive to stop. Go home. Going home is the most important thing. Go home. And if you
There you
gotta
go.
go to jail for a few hours, days, go.
Hmm.
Because you're gonna eventually go home.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all your people need is for you to come home. That's it.
Uh, I appreciate you, brother. Love you,
Man,
man. Appreciate you, man.
man, love you
Always
too,
sharing,
Pop.
giving that word, brother. We'll catch up,
Always.
man. All
For
right,
sure. Yep.
later. Hey, man, blessings, good people. I know we jumped on here a lot earlier than normal, man, but I had to let my dog. Excuse me. I had to. Excuse me, y'all. I had to let my boy um, give his take, man, and educate. And tonight was very strong. It was a great conversation, and I hope that people can understand. I do understand that we're frustrated as citizens. We're frustrated as a community. We're frustrated across the boards. I get that. But what is it that we can do to not put ourselves in these situations? You know, time and time again, if we could replay the tapes or do certain things, you know, just that one moment. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, man. And just thinking past the emotion and just figuring out what are the best ways that we can survive. What are the best ways that we can go home? So just understand that, good people, you know, make sure you're having these conversations with your families, with your children, with your loved ones. We all got to look out for each other, man. If you get a chance, please share this video. Send it out to 10 people, send it out to 20 people, man. Just let people hear this conversation because it's so important, especially with the things that are going on. I love y'all. Stay blessed, man. Praying for everybody. I'm praying God continues to cover us all, you know, continues to show us his grace and his mercy each and every day. I know we're all, you know, fighting and doing the best we can as men, doing the best we can as women, doing the best we can in our community. So just keep going and love y'all, man. Y'all have a good one. Yeah.